It all begins with one simple invitation: relax. Take a slow breath and let yourself become still. Beneath all the noise, the pressure, and the endless movement of life, there is a quiet presence waiting for you. If you pause long enough to listen, you'll notice it. It's the gentle voice within, reminding you that what you desire is not far away. You are simply becoming aware of something that has always belonged to you. Everything you long for isn't waiting somewhere outside of you to be earned through struggle. It already exists within your consciousness, planted in the imagination that shapes your life. While many people spend years believing they must fight, sacrifice, and work endlessly before they deserve happiness, they overlook the greatest truth. The real power isn't found in constant effort, it is found in assuming that what you desire is already yours. Relaxing doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It means letting go of the belief that you must force them into existence. You aren't trying to convince life to bless you. You are recognizing that life has already responded to the state you choose to live in. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing needs to be repaired before you are worthy. You are not behind schedule, and you haven't missed your moment. The instant your attention moves inward, instead of constantly reaching outward, you step into the place where creation truly begins. Imagine that the love, abundance, health, peace, and fulfillment you seek already belong to you. Don't worry about the process. Don't ask how it will happen. Simply experience the feeling of already having it. Picture waking each morning with complete confidence that everything is unfolding perfectly. Carry that quiet certainty throughout your day. This isn't wishful thinking. It is the creative force that brings your inner world into harmony with your outer experience. Most of us have been trained to worry, overthink, and believe that trying harder is the answer. But reality doesn't respond to fear. It responds to the pictures and emotions you repeatedly accept as true. When you imagine from the feeling that your wish has already been fulfilled, you are not escaping reality, you are shaping it. As you continue living from that state, your world gradually reorganizes itself to reflect your inner conviction. There will be moments when your surroundings appear unchanged. Delays may seem real, and circumstances may suggest that nothing is happening. Don't let appearances decide what you believe. They are only reflections of old assumptions. They hold no lasting power unless you continue feeding them with your attention. Real transformation begins when you stop allowing your senses to define your future and instead rest in the unseen reality you've already accepted within yourself. Your role isn't to force results. Your role is to remain faithful to the feeling that your desire has already been fulfilled. Live from that certainty. Walk in quiet confidence instead of frustration. Anxiety has never been the doorway to manifestation. An endless struggle isn't a requirement for receiving what is already yours by divine design. The world often teaches that success belongs only to those who constantly chase it. But your deepest power appears when you stop resisting life and begin trusting your inner vision. That's when opportunities arrive naturally, doors begin to open. Things that once felt impossible suddenly unfold with surprising ease, not because the world became different, but because your consciousness did. The moment you relax, you rise above fear, doubt, and limitation. You enter a state where your beliefs shape experience and your imagination becomes the blueprint for reality. Instead of chasing blessings, you begin expressing them. Instead of forcing outcomes, you embody them. Life becomes lighter because you're no longer fighting against it. Take another breath. Release the need to control every detail. Stop swimming against the current. Everything you've been searching for isn't waiting somewhere ahead. Its source has always been within you. You were never created to spend your life endlessly striving. You were created to imagine boldly, believe completely, and receive with an open heart. As you surrender to this truth, something remarkable begins to happen. You realize that everything you've desired is already moving toward you, not because you finally earned it, but because you've aligned yourself with it. That quiet inner alignment is enough. Close your eyes once more and notice the silence beneath your thoughts. Not the silence around you, but the deeper stillness inside your own awareness. It is there that truth speaks most clearly. The outer world, as solid as it appears, is only a reflection cast by your inner consciousness. Every belief you accept, every assumption you repeatedly entertain, every scene you replay within your imagination eventually becomes the reality you experience. Your imagination isn't fantasy, it is the creative center of your life. Most people live backwards. They wait for external success before allowing themselves to feel joy, security, confidence, or peace. In doing so, they surrender their power to circumstances. They forget that circumstances are nothing more than echoes of the state they've been living within. Trying to change life without changing consciousness is like trying to change your reflection by touching the mirror instead of your own face. If your life reflects lack, loneliness, rejection, or delay, it isn't because life is against you. It is because those feelings have quietly been accepted within your inner world. The emotions you've rehearsed most often eventually became the picture reflected back to you. The beautiful truth is that the moment you recognize consciousness as the true cause, everything changes. Your power returns. You no longer need to battle the outside world. You simply begin nurturing the world within. Imagine yourself already fulfilled, already loved, already successful. Not because someone else confirms it, but because you've chosen to accept it as your reality. You aren't waiting for life to approve you. Life is waiting for you to assume the identity you've always been capable of becoming. This isn't escaping reality. It's finally understanding how reality is created. You were never meant to drift through life reacting to every event. You are the source from which your experience flows. Every dominant thought, every repeated emotion, every scene you consistently entertain in imagination becomes tomorrow's experience. There's no need to manipulate others, chase opportunities desperately, or force outcomes. Change within, and the outer world naturally follows. This is the quiet simplicity of creation. You don't have to know every step. You don't have to figure out every detail. Simply live inwardly from the feeling that your desire is already fulfilled. Let that state become your home. Return to it again and again, not as someone asking for permission, but as someone returning to what has always belonged to them. Every emotion you repeat is shaping your future. Once you understand this, the world loses its power to intimidate you. You stop panicking over delays because you realize the only thing that truly determines your future is the state you choose to occupy today. That's the secret. Become abundant within before wealth appears. Feel loved before love arrives. Experience freedom within before your circumstances change. Every transformation begins in consciousness first. You are not the product of your environment, you are its cause. When you withdraw belief from limitation and consistently nourish a new assumption, reality reshapes itself to match your inner world. Everything begins within. Relaxation then isn't laziness. It is a sacred trust. It is choosing to rest in the certainty that your desire already exists. In a world that glorifies struggle, relaxing is an act of profound faith. The moment you stop wrestling with appearances, you create space for your imagination to do its work. You cannot live in fear and create freely at the same time. Worry contracts your spirit. Relaxation expands it. Each calm breath silently declares, "It is already done." We have been taught that exhaustion proves commitment, that success must be purchased through endless effort. Yet nature reveals a different truth. A seed never strains to become a tree. The moon never struggles to rise. A flower doesn't force itself to bloom. They simply express the life already placed within them. That same power lives within you. Trust it, relax into it, and allow it to unfold naturally through your life. Relaxation is one of nature's greatest lessons. Everywhere you look, life shows you that true growth comes through harmony, not strain. Because you are part of that same divine intelligence, the same principle applies to you. The moment you imagine your desire as already fulfilled, With quiet confidence, steady faith, and inner peace, you place a powerful seed into the depths of your subconscious mind. Just as a gardener doesn't dig up a seed every day to check whether it's growing, you don't need to constantly question whether your desire is unfolding. Your role is much simpler. Trust it, stay relaxed, continue nourishing it with belief, and enjoy the feeling that it already belongs to you. This peaceful state is far from passive. In fact, it is one of the strongest positions you can ever occupy. It silently declares that you are no longer wishing or hoping, you know. Think about placing an online order. Once you receive the confirmation, you don't spend every minute staring out the window wondering if it will arrive. You trust the process and continue with your day because you know it's already on its way. Yet many people treat their dreams with far less confidence. They imagine what they want, then immediately begin worrying, doubting, forcing, and trying to control every detail. That anxious energy only creates resistance. It interrupts the natural flow. But when you rest in the feeling that your desire is already complete, you create the clearest path for it to appear. True relaxation doesn't mean you stop caring about your dream. It means you release the fear that it won't happen. It means letting go of the exhausting need to control every outcome. In that moment, you stop blocking your own blessings. Instead of thinking, I have to make this happen, you begin saying, this is already part of my life. That quiet sense of unity transforms you into someone who naturally attracts experiences that match your inner state. Living from the fulfilled state is always peaceful. Ask yourself this: if your dream had already come true, if the money was already yours, the relationship already flourishing, your health completely restored, how would you feel? You wouldn't be stressed or impatient. You would move through each day with calm confidence, gratitude, and ease. That emotional state isn't something you wait to experience after your manifestation arrives. It's something you choose now. When you embody it today, your future begins moving toward you through resonance instead of struggle. People often ask what they should do while waiting for their manifestation. The answer is simple: stop waiting. Begin living as the version of yourself who already has it. Think like that person. Walk with their confidence. Speak with their certainty. Rest with their peace. Don't pretend to be them. Become them. Even when your current circumstances seem to disagree with your vision, remain relaxed. That calmness is your greatest strength. It quietly announces that you refuse to let temporary appearances define your reality. Stillness is not weakness, it is confidence in its purest form. Your subconscious responds far more deeply to calm conviction than desperate pleading. It doesn't respond to fear, it responds to certainty. You weren't born to struggle your way toward abundance. Abundance is already part of your true nature. You weren't meant to fight endlessly for love, because love already exists within you. You weren't created to battle your way toward freedom. The door has never been locked. All that's required is the willingness to walk through it. And that happens through trust, peace, and relaxation. Release the pressure you've been carrying. Stop measuring your life against a timeline. Let go of fear, relax your body, breathe deeply, close your eyes, and fully experience the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. Then continue living from that place and watch your world quietly begin reflecting what your heart already knows, that everything meant for you is making its way into your experience. You won't receive it because you chased it. You'll receive it because you aligned with it. Imagination is not an escape from reality. It is the very place where reality begins. Whatever you consistently imagine with emotion, faith, and conviction starts taking shape long before your eyes can see it. Every invention, every masterpiece, every achievement first existed in someone's imagination. The invisible always comes before the visible. Many people misuse this gift. They visit their desired future for a few moments, then immediately return to doubt. They allow present circumstances to feel more real than the vision they experienced within. But imagination becomes powerful only when you honor it as your true reality. If you can remain faithful to that inner picture, the outer world must eventually reflect it. Wanting isn't enough. Wishing isn't enough. Imagination is about becoming. When you imagine from the end result, you step into the identity of the person who already possesses what they desire. You don't merely think about success. You think as someone successful. You don't simply hope for love. You experience yourself as already loved. You don't wish for healing, you accept yourself as whole. That inner shift changes everything. Your subconscious doesn't separate vivid imagination from physical experience. It responds to whatever emotions you repeatedly impress upon it. Every heartfelt scene you create within becomes a new instruction for your subconscious, which then begins arranging people, opportunities, unexpected events, and perfect timing to match that new identity. There is an important difference between imagining about something and imagining from it. When you imagine about wealth, you're still standing outside looking in. When you imagine from wealth, you're already living inside that reality. You're no longer wondering when it will happen, because within your consciousness, it already has. That's where true transformation begins. You stop hoping, you start knowing. You stop waiting, you begin being. Use your imagination as the creative power it was designed to be. When you close your eyes, fully enter the scene that proves your wish has already been fulfilled. Hear the conversations, feel the emotions, notice every detail, experience the gratitude, joy, and peace as though it were happening now. Then open your eyes and continue living from that inner certainty, because although nothing may seem different externally, everything has already changed within. Your imagination is one of the greatest gifts you've ever been given. It wasn't meant for idle fantasy. It was given so you could consciously shape your life. Every time you replay failure, rejection, or disappointment in your mind, you're unintentionally practicing a future you don't actually want. Your subconscious accepts those repeated impressions without questioning them. You cannot consistently imagine scarcity while expecting abundance. You cannot relive heartbreak while expecting lasting love. You cannot continue identifying with illness while expecting complete healing. Your outer experience follows the identity you accept within. This is why faith reaches beyond what the eyes can see. Imagination is spiritual vision. It allows you to perceive a reality that already exists before it becomes visible. As you continue feeding that vision with your attention and protecting it from doubt, it gradually takes solid form. The world does not bend because of force, it responds to the picture you faithfully hold within yourself. So stop asking how it will happen. Trust that the unseen is already arranging everything in perfect order. Never become consumed by how your desire will happen. That part has never been your responsibility. The path belongs to the unseen intelligence that quietly orchestrates all of creation. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the vision you've accepted within yourself. Even when nothing around you seems different, especially then, that is your invitation to go even deeper. Return to the feeling. Replay the scene in your imagination. Continue experiencing yourself as the person who already lives the reality you desire until it feels more natural than your current circumstances. Stay with that inner experience until it becomes so real that the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. This isn't about forcing positive thoughts or pretending everything is perfect. It's about becoming calm enough to truly feel the reality you've chosen. The stronger and more genuine that feeling becomes, the closer you move toward its physical expression. When you remain in the feeling of your wish fulfilled long enough, life begins moving towards you in ways your logical mind could never predict. Unexpected opportunities appear. The right people enter your life. Doors you never noticed begin to open. Circumstances quietly rearrange themselves in your favor. To others, it may seem like coincidence or luck. It may even look miraculous, but it is simply the natural response of a world that faithfully mirrors your inner state. Everything you will ever experience first passes through imagination. It is the birthplace of reality. Before anything becomes visible, it exists within consciousness. Don't allow your physical eyes to determine what you believe. Trust the feeling you've accepted inside. That feeling is the seed. That inner picture is the instruction. Your imagination is the bridge between where you are and where you're going. Continue walking across that bridge with confidence, and one day you'll discover you've arrived in the life you once only imagined. One of life's greatest illusions is believing that your senses tell the complete truth. What you currently see, hear, touch, and experience isn't directing your future. It's simply revealing the results of your previous assumptions. Your outer world isn't the master, it is the reflection. Yet so many people allow present circumstances to dictate what they believe. They adjust their faith according to what they can measure with their senses. That is where doubt begins, not because possibilities disappear, but because attention shifts toward appearances instead of inner knowing. Your senses are reporters, not creators. They reveal yesterday's harvest, not today's planting. Choosing not to be controlled by appearances isn't denial, it's wisdom. It is trusting what your spirit already knows over what your eyes temporarily observe. Every circumstance around you reflects assumptions you've consistently held in the past. If you've repeatedly entertained lack, life naturally echoed scarcity. If you've continually imagined rejection or disappointment, those experiences appeared because they matched your inner state. But the instant you quietly adopt a different assumption and remain faithful to it, reality begins changing. It may not happen immediately on the surface, but beneath it, everything has already begun shifting. Because the physical world operates through time, it often creates the illusion that nothing is happening. But unseen movement always comes first. Trust what cannot yet be seen more than what temporarily appears before you. This isn't blind optimism. It's understanding that your external world behaves like a delayed mirror, always reflecting yesterday's consciousness. If you want a different reflection, you don't polish the mirror, you transform the one standing in front of it. That transformation happens within your identity, your emotions, your assumptions, and the story you consistently tell yourself. The moment you stop demanding physical proof before believing and instead relax into the certainty that your desire is already yours, you step into true alignment. Fear loses its grip, time loses its pressure. You begin living inwardly in the future you desire, and by doing so, you invite it into the present. Many people unknowingly stop their manifestation just before it arrives, not because they imagined incorrectly, but because they became discouraged by what they could see. They checked their bank balance, looked at unanswered messages, reviewed disappointing reports, and concluded that nothing was changing. The moment they accepted that conclusion, they stepped out of fulfillment and back into wanting. Their subconscious simply reflected that new state, and the cycle continued. It wasn't life withholding their desire, it was their own shift in consciousness. Silence is sacred because it is where unseen creation takes place. During that quiet period comes the real question. Can you remain faithful to what you've accepted within yourself, even when your outer world offers no confirmation? Can you continue believing in the picture you've planted despite temporary contradictions? That is genuine faith. Faith isn't passive. It is an inner certainty that says, I don't need external evidence. My inner knowing is enough. Your feeling is the signal you continuously send into creation. It speaks more clearly than words ever could. You don't need to convince anyone. You simply need to remain consistent. The real challenge isn't doing more or trying harder. It is remaining peaceful while appearances suggest otherwise. When circumstances suggest limitation, continue thinking from abundance. When rejection appears, remain rooted in the feeling of acceptance. When delays seem endless, sink even deeper into trust. Don't fight what you see, rise above it. Look at present circumstances and quietly remind yourself, this belongs to my past assumptions. The reality you've chosen internally is already replacing what you currently see. The old picture is fading even if your eyes haven't caught up yet. Think of an actor who completely commits to a role before the finished stage even exists. They don't abandon the performance because the scenery hasn't been assembled or because the audience hasn't arrived. They stay in character from beginning to end, trusting everything else will come together. Your life works the same way. You are both the writer and the lead character. Your responsibility is to remain loyal to the identity of the fulfilled version of yourself, regardless of present conditions, regardless of who believes in you, and regardless of what today's circumstances suggest. The identity you consistently assume eventually becomes the world you experience. Living from the end means thinking, feeling, and responding as the person whose desire is already fulfilled. You aren't standing outside your future watching it approach. You are already living inside it through consciousness. Each time you return to that inner reality, your energy becomes stronger. Your confidence deepens. You naturally become aligned with the people, opportunities, and events that belong to your new identity. They come to you not because you chased them, but because they now recognize you as someone who naturally belongs to them. Ask yourself one question: which carries greater authority? What your eyes currently see, or what your heart already knows? For a time, those two answers may not match. During that space between imagination and manifestation, protect your vision. Resist the temptation to lower your expectations simply because your surroundings haven't caught up. Instead, elevate your inner state until it matches the future you've chosen. That is the practice. That is the discipline. That is the doorway into the unseen reality where every possibility already exists. So the next time it feels as though nothing is changing, remember the gardener. They never dig up the seed to prove it is growing. They water it, trust the process, and allow nature to do its work. Your inner transformation happens in quiet moments. The outer world will always follow. Remain patient, remain faithful, and above all, trust what is happening within.